All right, it is time for pre-market prep at the close.
Three consecutive highs, opened, matched yesterday's low, and then once it took out there, that's all the breakout momentum traders needed.
Hey, how we doing today, Joel?
Oh, just memeing along.
I bet you are. I know for a fact that you've been memeing all day. Is memeing
Yeah.
the word? Is that even a verb? Memeing? I don't know.
Probably not. I make stuff up anyways. Just like this whole show. That's all you need to do. You just need to make big stuff up. It's pretty easy. What's going on, Spencer? I hear that you're getting down and dirty in Biogen.
What? No, I am not. I was watching it like a hawk, though. Very interesting price action. We'll get to that in a second. But first, bring up those charts.
Yep,
Tell us how we're doing on the S&P 500 futures, the Bitcoin futures. We look at.
It's all interesting. Now you're getting your act together here. S&Ps couldn't take out you guys could probably get sick of me saying the same stuff. Couldn't take out the pre-market high, rolled over, and couldn't take out the pre-market low. Just bouncing back down on the session 450. Not a big day, maybe a late day rally here. And we could get over 28 and a quarter. That's your old-time closing high. 70, just too much of a big round number. Haven't been there since January of 20. Down 43 cents at 69.19. Gold back battling 1900, up 1060, 1902.60 is the last print. Silver back over 28, 14.4 cents. 2804. Bitcoin down 1330. Folks, don't say I didn't warn you about 35K in Bitcoin. It's one must tweet away. I have no position. I'm just saying when I see a chart like that, I know when to get the hell out of the way. And if you think that this is just going to be the low, the 35K is the low, and we're turning back and going to 60, then go right ahead. It's just too many times down in the same area. Down 1320. We'll see what happens. On the opposite end of the coin, hey, how'd you like that? Up 29.50 in Ethereum at 27.31 and a quarter. Quite the different chart, right? Look at this. It's bumping against the quintuplet, sextuplet, seventuplet high here at 3,000. So that's just a poor man's technician look at the cryptocurrencies.
You know who's not poor? Dennis Dick. He sent me a picture of his cottage in shambles because they had it demolished today, and all I saw was a lot of lumber. That guy's got a lot.
I forgot.
He's a rich man with all that lumber. Let me tell you.
I wonder if he let me move my camera here so you see my handsome face a little bit better. I wonder if he was scalping that with the guy, or they just take it away.
It's a lot.
I would have been there counting every board.
I bet. No, in all seriousness here, let's talk about Biogen. So the news was out. It was great news, fantastic news. For the first time ever, we do have an FDA-approved drug that can treat Alzheimer's. Not a cure. Can't say that enough. Not a cure, not a cure, not a cure. Does potentially slow down the progression of the disease. The CEO was on CNBC about an hour ago talking about it. The stock came out of the halt, and it went to 468. This is a stock that was at the time of the halt, when it was halted for news pending at like 10:45 this morning, was at $288, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
it went from 288 to 468 out of the halt. Let me bring the chart up here and see what we're looking at here. So
man, oh man, now my Biogen chart's messed up forever.
Yeah, I know. Poor you. Huge day for science, for humanity. because it's not a cure, but at least it's something. And I know there's going to be a lot of controversy around this drug because there was a lot of controversy about whether or not it should be approved or not. I highly recommend reading Adam Feuerstein's article from Stat News about. He put the entire context of this story, or put all the story into context the last couple of years. Because remember, there was that panel back in November that voted not to approve it, that independent panel, and now here it is approved today. So huge news. But this is a stock show, so let's talk about the stock.
Yeah, like I said, great day here for humanity. I'm just looking at it technically here, and they're selling the rip on this one, folks. And I don't know, Triple D, I talked to him. He's not selling. He doesn't want to pay the taxes. 460 was the reopening print. Went to 468.55. So I'm no rocket scientist, but if I was holding on, if I had this stock and it went up 468.55, it came back down to 440. I would have to ring the register on that. I mean, such a big move and such a period of time, and all these people. Right, this is only a weekly here. Let me go to a monthly. I don't know what the option premiums were on this, but if you were probably paying up the nose for the options and you got this kind of pop, I don't even know what the 400s were going for. I don't have that platform up right now. But boy, oh boy, I mean, ring the register. Now you're 75 points off the high. Now, when you go back to rally up to that area next time, you're going to have oversupply from the people that, like, I should have sold at 400.
Because how many people really are stuck in this thing now? I can't imagine. The thing no, it was so fast. It was so fast. We know it's all bots anyway. I can't imagine there are that many people. I'm sure there are people that lost money today, but there are, maybe I'm wrong, but I can't imagine there's that many people that are.
Oh, no. Everyone on Reddit, they bought it, sold it, shorted it, and then now they're not short. I mean, just look at people's Twitter feeds. You know what the hell they did, Spencer. No one ever loses money except me and Dennis, okay? No one has a losing trade on Wall Street besides me and Dennis. That's it. Everyone else makes money all the time. Every day, every trade. Just go on Twitter, Spencer.
I'm just saying, if it were me, for example, and I bought a 450 and I was like, crap, I would have sold it like 425. You know what I mean? Like, I can't imagine there's anybody out there that bought this thing in, around 1:45, 2 o'clock today, that is underwater, that is still long. Maybe I'm wrong, but if you made money, great. If you lost money, that sucks. But how many people are trapped?
Okay. All right. Well, what I mean bag, let me say longer term bag holders. Okay. And but just going back here, I mean, this thing got within $20. Let me see. The all-time high, 40.80.18. I remember that day we were broadcasting on PreMarket Prep. The news came up. I remember it ticking 480.18. I remember that day. And then you go all the way down. It takes 6 years to get your money back, and you didn't have your sell order ready. I mean, I don't want to harp on circumstances that involve people's health, but what the hell? I mean, come on. It's just the market dynamics don't support a move like that. You see what happens. I don't trade it. I don't have a position in it. So that's it. I'm done. Let's move on. We got to talk about more in one stock than Biogen.
Well, there's a couple other things moving off of this, right? Like Eli Lilly was a big one. That thing went crazy. There's actually a few of these.
Okay, and that's okay. That because they have a drug too, right? And now they're thinking that the FDA panel is going to be easing restrictions a little bit. Hell of a sympathy play. New all-time high. This is a little different, but Lilly's been a little bit longer of a stock, so I don't have the same feeling about that. There's not many, as many long-term bag holders in this one. If you had a target, did anybody get hit off it?
Well,
not really.
If you go to not really. Go to the IB.
I'm sure there were bots, and I'm sure they were programmed. And they're like, okay, if this gets approved, then buy Lilly because Lilly's drug may get approved.
And also SAVA, Sava. Those are the three. Biogen, Eli Lilly and
Doesn't sound like a crazy stock though. The big short squeeze in this one. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Yeah, that got a pop. Sympathy, right?
Yeah.
You know what? If you're sharp and you're trading those, then congratulations. This is closer to the high, lower the session than the high. So be careful taking this one home overnight.
All right. Let's look at Apple here, just because they started their the WWDC.
Are you trying to get kicked off the network by talking about Apple? You're talking about a real stock, Spencer? Do you really want to do that? Do you want to talk about the biggest company in the world, the largest component in the S&P 500 index?
For now. I mean, it is for now. Maybe not.
Trading range. I don't know what to tell you here, man. Let me put these lines up here and then wake me up when it moves out of this range. I mean, I think I did this before. I must not have saved my layout. I don't save a lot of layouts, and then I'm bummed the next morning when I wake up and I got to redo the whole thing. But that's just me. 122.5, 128. I mean, you're just throwing darts here in between. No direction. I think I got one small long position in this one. Nothing that I have to notify the government when I sell it.
Okay, then. All right. God, there really wasn't that much else on my radar today. I was mostly just watching those biotechs. I was watching AMC, obviously, though it's been pretty quiet. Not an inside day, but Joel, you're bunching up theories. I think still applicable. So it's just coiling and coiling and coiling. So not much to say other than that, I think.
All right. Well, since we only covered two stocks the entire hour this morning, right? And everyone knows that people love when I do ticker time. And they love when I do tickers. So why don't we just kind of just do some tickers and stuff and and see what we can do. Dave got it said, Joel's sounding a bit salty since the chat this morning. Kind of don't blame him though. LOL.
Dude, Joel, you should have seen the chat in the power hour, man. Let me tell you, you would have fallen out of your chair.
You ever block me, Spencer, from the chat? Have you ever been tempted to block me? But
I actually did. I think this was on Friday. I blocked somebody by mistake. I didn't mean to block them. If that was you, I'm sorry. But the chat moved as I clicked the mouse, and I blocked the.
Oh my gosh!
So if that was you, I couldn't tell who it was. If that was you, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to block you. Friday. I think that was Friday morning. All right.
You know what? Also, if you I got multiple screens here. I got multiple order entry. I got a lot of things going. So sometimes I click off the YouTube chat, and then when you come back to it.
Yeah, it's hard.
It just catches up. I got to take a nausea pill. I mean, when it does that. But all right, Spencer. Okay. So what do you want to cover?
Go. No particular order here, but we're going to cover as many of them as we can. Roblox. This one had a weird couple of days. Not weird, I should say. It was ripping. Ever since its earnings report, it's been ripping Roblox. And it's down.
Okay.
It's down big today. Down 6%.
Down big?
I don't know why. Although I don't know why it ran either. It ran to over 100.
Yeah, I know everyone was asking about it. I don't want to be too much after the fact, Jack. Here, you had two highs kind of in the same area, 103.20, then 103.87 for $100 stock. Two highs in the same handle, to me, is significant. If you don't like concentrating on daily highs, you might have wanted to focus. It never even closed over 100. Interesting. 1, 2, 3 days in a row, you couldn't close over 100. All-time high 99.57. Today, it opened above that, got through it when it came back down. So I just think some people are ringing the register in this one. On the downside, if you're trying to save yourself some money, wow. Look at these lows. I'm just going to read them off for you. 92.53, 93.22, and then 93.28 today. Make 93 even, a 4-star. Underneath that, man, I think you're looking under $90. On a rebound now, I have to calculate my daily numbers after the close, so I can't do that yet. But I would say it would come probably in the 95, 96 area. and that's really in no man's land. So keeping an eye on 93 all-time closing high, 99.57. Nope, 99.86 was the all-time high. I stand corrected. That was made. That's interesting. That was made on the day it made the all-time high. It got it above the next 3 sessions, but couldn't hold it. Emphasis on closing price.
All right. What about Novavax, which we have not talked about for quite some time on I feel like on either of our morning show or this show. But Novavax, we used to talk about all the time when it was up in the vaccine race. We don't talk about it much anymore, but it is having a good couple weeks.
Yeah, this is one of the easiest charts you guys have ever given me here.
Okay.
All right, boom. All right, so you got half of this back. You're back above 190. That was a big old move. Those are some big daily red candles. A lot of people got their money back. You just got over this high at 194.99. I would, just figure that exact number. I'm just going to spitball it at 190. But I think after this big of a 4-day move, you could just maybe hang, chop, 185 to 196. And then, boom, maybe take off after that. But long term, what if you get one of these consolidation periods here, folks? You're going to be pulling your hair out. You had the 4-day move, long consolidation. So maybe it's going to keep ripping higher. I think the drugs are kind of in favor today, because of the news with Biogen. So, a little nod to the biotechs.
Who was it in chat? Eric Baumol asked about Goldman Sachs. Eric, what about it? I mean, it's at an all-time high pretty much. I'm not sure what there is to say about Goldman Sachs other than the fact that it's
you know what? How much have we talked Goldman Sachs?
Basically never.
Boring.
I think we know. No, boring. Look. What do you mean boring? Look at the stock the last 6 months. Boring.
Yeah. Boy, that used to be a fun. When it was $100, $110 stock, man, that's a long time ago. That was a fun stock to trade. But $400 now. Oh boy, oh boy. I mean,
there's nothing.
I don't know what that. Like I see a chart like this. What am I supposed to say? I'm not going to say sell it.
There's nothing
even
to
though
say.
you are getting a red candle off this. You made a new high. All right, here's the thing. Only concerning thing I see about this. On the second, your all-time high was 84.67. The next day was 91.25. So you really crushed it. The next day, it was 92.05, less than $1. And today it's about 80 cents. So emphasis tomorrow, if you feel like you want to get out the all-time closing high, get your GTC in there for Friday's close at 91.45. 87, mild support. The reason I call that mild is, down day in the market, whatever. You lose 87. Your next daily low is at 80.13.
Joe, bring up that Twitter chart if you can. So gap theory would tell us that we are inclined to go to 65.
Yes. And I've been telling, I don't know, who's asking about that? Is it the same guy?
Is it Salin?
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 Yep.
No.
Yep.
No.
I mean, that I'm with that. Am I getting long here? If you get long here, you think it's going back to 65? Then, give you, what's that? That's a 5-point move, risk 2.5. But yeah, Twitter usually, fills the gaps. So new high, maybe some paper stacked at 60. No, not even yet. I may see that by the end of the session. They finally went to some paid subscription service. Sorry, not a lot here. It's working its way into the gap.
Funny, people have been clamoring for that for like 5 years. I feel like
I know.
It makes
longer.
Make something paid. Make something paid. And they just now did it. And what they say, it's like $2 a month, $3 a month. And all you get to do is like edit your tweets. I don't know.
Oh, really? I edit mine anyways.
What? No, you don't.
Yeah, you can edit your tweet, can't you?
No. What?
Delete it and repost it.
Wait, that's not editing. That's deleting and reposting.
So what the hell? Then what are people paying for? Is that it?
There are a couple other things. I think you can you can like collect your tweets, organize them. I don't know. Okay, fine.
I might sell the stock. I've been saying that forever.
I know.
No, I got a little piece. I'll hold it. Let my kids worry about the tax problem.
Yeah, exactly. Ankit Patel, Fastly. Okay.
Fastly is moving
Oh,
slowly.
okay.
Let's see.
Ah, actually, look at that.
Let's see.
Look at that. Huh.
This is what. Oh yeah,
Ooh,
man.
this looks juicy.
I know. And yeah, forever and a brother to buy it between 40 and 45.
This looks
I don't know why I never pulled the trigger. It's moving, it's slow, and I look for a gap fill. I mean, you can find some intermediate Fibonacci levels or something in that. But yeah, that looks good. Matched. Well, you got a buck through yesterday's low. Open 47.31. That was the close. Did we go down first? Yeah. This is one of the whoops trades. If you am not buying it off the open or you buy it off the open, you get tanned, comes back up through the open. Much lower risk trade if you're inclined to trade that way. I'm looking for a gap fill in this one. Really, I can't really add anything between the gap area, but it's not just going to go there automatically.
Which of the two would you rather go with, RCL or CCL? Good question.
RCL or CCL?
Good question.
Well, first of all, do they know I'm not a big fan of cruises because you can't golf, right?
Well, golf off the side of the boat, right? Wait, what do you mean you can't golf? You can go to a golf course, right? Like you can.
And they probably got rid of the midnight buffets, right? So who the hell wants to go on a cruise? I'll say it again. If you're going to go on a cruise, go to Alaska. That was the greatest cruise I ever did. Super tough question. RCL, they both look too high for me. They both are meeting monthly resistance. So I'd say neither. I don't want to be long either up here.
No, come on.
Yeah, 3 highs at the same area. Maybe I try a scalp if it got above 96 tomorrow and had some momentum. But no, sometimes there's no setup. CCL, holding the breakout. The original move was 30.67. We could, get rid of this retracement here. What's this monthly high here? This must be from February. Let's see this monthly high. 33.34, March high. So that's what that's what I'd be looking at. You're purchasing it here. But me, on a swing trade or whatever, I wouldn't risk much below. Triple at $30. Give yourself some room under 30 if I had to do a trade. But like I said, I just too high. And I probably would have said that at 25, 27, 29, 30, 31. So no great shakes there.
What a cop out. All right. Some people are asking about this OSW. This is a low float play. It's One Spa World Holdings, OSW. It's got a lot of volume today, but it's got a low float. No news, no headlines that I saw, but be mindful of the fact that it's got a float of 51 million shares. I'm not going to ask Joel for levels. All I'm going to say is it's got 51 million share float, which means it's easy to push around. It doesn't take a lot of capital to push this thing around at $12 and 51 million shares. So
this is a rumor, and I can't substantiate this. They're going to buy another SPA. It's going to be 2 SPA World Holdings, and it's going to double in price tomorrow.
Hey, he'll be here all week, folks.
Next daily target on the upside, 1293. Where'd you get to today? Today you got to 1250. That's a monthly high from back here. That's what I'd be using a target, 50 cents. So for me, from a risk reward ratio, I would risk 25 cents here at 1242 to try and sell it at that level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up days in a row. Just about 6 higher highs, 6 higher lows, 6 higher closes. Yeah, trends do continue. That's a nice looking trend. Try and protect profits on this one.
Do you want me to go over the earnings calendar for the week? Because we have a couple.
Yeah, besides GameStop.
Oh, I didn't know you knew that. That was gonna be my big one. Yeah. So not March this week. We've got Campbell's Soup is Wednesday. We've got Thor, the RV company.
Yeah,
it's tomorrow morning. Stitch Fix is tonight. What else do
that Stitch Fix? I mean, aren't people going out and buying their threads now? Bullish.
That's not what
you look at it 2 ways.
It's not what it is.
People are going out and buying new threads.
That's not.
Or they bought their threads before they had to go back to work. Big level here. Look at this. You had to gap down. You attempted to rally. You got to 60, 2 different occasions. Peaked at 60 today. If I had this going into the report, I'd like to try and get out as close to 60 as possible. Gap fill here, 66.97.
Wait, I just want to clarify. Stitch Fix, the company, has nothing to do with fixing your stitches in your clothes.
No, it's getting closed. They shop for you.
Yeah. It's a.
I know what the hell I'm talking about.
Okay, I'm just okay. I just wanted to clarify.
Wanda is the person that fixes your clothes.
All
Wanda down the. If you need a good seamstress, I got one just down the street. I go to her about twice a year.
I actually have to go to the tailor today, Joel.
Where are you going? Don't go to that guy by your house in Barron's. You'll be broke.
Don't go to Barron's. Okay. I won't go to Barron's.
Do you want? I'll send you Wanda's number.
Okay. I ventured to.
She's really nice. A little slow. Like if you need it in 2 weeks, tell her you need it in a week.
I need it in like 4 days.
Oh.
Okay,
you know what? There's that other place on 12 Mile right by you.
All right. Yeah. Well,
on the right by where the 7-Eleven used to be. Before you get to Middle Belt.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Hi, Joel. Hope you're well. Thoughts on what's that? RIO?
Yeah, Rio Tinto.
Rio Tinto. Hi.
I'm sorry. Wait, chat's all over me because I didn't know what threads meant. All right, that's my bad.
Okay.
I didn't know what threads meant.
Oh boy. Tough. ADR, so you get to find out what it did when you woke up in the morning. Just based on the last couple of days, it's closing on the low of the session, so it looks like the European boys are selling. Not much between here and 86, but this is a real gapper, and you kind of just wake up in the morning and find out where it's going to trade for today. And I had a little movement today. I guess the opens are pretty. Maybe keep an eye on the opens on this one because the boys over trading it overseas know what they want to do here. So just general observation. Keep the opens are probably pretty important in that stock.
And then there's one more that I mentioned a few times. CLNE, which is a mid cap. It's a lower volume, but there's a lot of volume today. Doesn't typically only trades 3, 4, 5 million shares a day, but it's a $2 billion company, CLNE. So it's not small.
We've talked about this one before, haven't we?
Maybe like once or twice. I don't know what. Let me see.
Good day.
There is news today,
but not bad. Not great day.
Oh, you know what this is? This is like caught up in I think like Reddit stuff. I think.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know.
Big number at 11. Yeah, call me a liar because it got to 11.24 the other day. But sometimes you got to let these levels hang out more than one day. Boom, 11 o'clock. Or not 11 o'clock. 11's a big number in that one. No, I'm thinking I had to be somewhere at 4 o'clock. So that's it. Who's our guest tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow we got a good show, guys. So we got Paul and Monica on at like 8:15. But at 9, we've got the CEO of XPeng, XPEV.
Oh my gosh! All right,
we got a big show tomorrow. Joel, I'll see you then.
All right, have a good night.
No, in all seriousness, text me the Taylor stuff for real. I'm not joking.
Okay. Besides the one on 12 Mile.
Yes, just I want Joel's ranking of like the top 3 Taylors.
Well, I'm just going to give you my number one. Everyone have a good night.
Okay. See you, Joel. All right. It's Monday, 4 o'clock, which means it's time to bring on Edwin Dorsey from the Bear Cave and talk about what's going on in short seller land. Edwin, we missed you last week because of a holiday. How are we doing?
Spencer, I'm doing great. I'm really excited to be back. Thanks for having me on.
You're always like the most jovial guest that we have on. And so I feel the need to be extra surly around you just to balance it out a little bit because you're always so happy.
Well, Benzinga's a high energy crowd, and I like Benzinga, and I like you, Spencer. So
all right. Let's talk about short sellers and short reports. Top of my head, I can't think of anything big last week.
Mm-hmm.
Was there anything last week, or am I just forgetting?
Well, there's two that really kind of caught my eye.
We'll get to your own in a second. But yeah, okay.
Can I share my screen?
Is
that what we're gonna do?
Yeah, go for it.
Let's do my screen sharing.
Joel did just text me his Taylor, so he just to confirm he followed through on that. Okay.
Do you see my screen, Spencer?
We got it.
So Carisdale put out a report on Virgin Galactic, and I thought it was interesting. His Twitter thread was incidentally more interesting than the tweet. So in the Twitter thread, he highlights that Virgin Galactic's technology has killed 4 people and badly injured 4 more. I had no idea that was a thing. And as far as I know, I don't think Blue Origin or SpaceX has had that type of issues. And he said that they're an $8 billion pretender hoping to offer a souped up roller coaster ride in a world where the real thing's coming soon. So basically, it's like their tech isn't that good. The tech isn't that safe. And Blue Origin and SpaceX are going to dominate. And once that actually comes to fruition, the publicly traded Virgin Galactic with an $8 billion market cap might suffer. So that's just interesting. The other one that kind of caught my eye came out last night, Spencer, by Boatman Capital Research, which I don't think people have really heard about. And basically, there was this coal company that was about to be spun off from Anglo American, this big mining company, and it got spun off today. And hours before it was going to be spun off, he puts out this report on the coal company, basically saying their environmental liabilities are much higher than is being reported. And because of the environmental damage their coals cause to their community, the amount they'll need to pay in cleanup fees and fines kind of exceeds the value of the spinoff. So the spinoff is actually worthless. And if you look in the first day of trading, they're down 15% in South Africa. And I just thought it was kind of interesting that this relatively no-name guy comes out with, I thought, a good report right before it gets spun off. You've never really seen that before. So that was interesting to me.
So basically from day one, what's the symbol again? Sorry.
So it trades in South Africa under TGA. It just started trading today, though.
All right. Yeah. So I don't have any data for that. So literally the first day.
Literally before the first day, hours before it was going to be spun off. So that's kind of interesting. Another one that a lot of people wrote about, Spencer, was this Yalla group. I don't know if we've talked about it before, but basically they're a Middle Eastern social networking platform, kind of like the Clubhouse of the Middle East. Yep. And what people have said is that they use a lot of bot accounts. And then after some short activists, including this Twitter guy, Occam's Razor, pointed out the bot accounts, traffic supposedly declined 70% as they got rid of the bots. And this is from his report. They have the way they make money is when people buy virtual gifts to give in the app, and you can see who the big gift givers are. And basically, by looking at that, they saw the big gift givers decline dramatically after these short reports came out, and supposedly the company got rid of bot and fraudulent activity. So that's one that kind of caught my eye. Yalla Group, ticker Yalla. And one site that I've been using a lot, Spencer, that I didn't know about, and I'm sure a lot of your users don't know about, is this site called iBorrowDesk. Have you heard of it?
I've heard of a lot of sites out there, and I got to admit, this is a new one for me.
This is my new favorite site when I'm just kind of researching a company. Basically, you put in any ticker, it comes up. This is completely free, by the way, and it takes from it takes from publicly available data the amount of shares outstanding for borrow and the fee it costs to borrow them. So you can see just at a moment's glance, is this stock hard to borrow? Are a lot of people shorting it? And what's the fee and how is it changing? So if you see the fee about spiking in a day or two, that might mean a new activist report's coming or a news event is leaking. If you see no shares available, then that's a sign that everybody's trying to short it. And that's probably a big red flag. This
is super interesting. Guys, the site is iBorrowDesk. I've never heard of this site before. Edwin just mentioned it.
It
looks pretty good. I do want to know where they get the data from, but this is a great find.
They get it from Interactive Brokers. So this is only Interactive Brokers data because I think they make it public where you can pull from the feed, but it's like, a lot of people, you can find short interest somewhat easily, but this is so much more useful, especially if you're wondering like, hey, do market participants know something I don't? Well, if you see the short borrow rate spiking for no reason, then that probably means somebody knows something. If you want to talk a little bit about news this week, Spencer, the head of the Public Company Accounting Oversight Board, this guy, William Dunkey, was removed as chairman of the oversight board, supposedly after like somebody like sent an email to like a lot of people in media talking about failures during his time running the PCAOB, which is like a regulatory agency that oversees audits. And I wrote about this in the Bear Cave, but basically he'd previously been the target of a whistleblower complaint that was being investigated. And then there was a lawsuit that kind of made him look bad and potentially like racist and odd. And like, I don't know, you can read about it in the Bear Cave, but that was something else that kind of, I don't think has been covered a lot in the media, but the PCAOB chairman's removal was kind of interesting to me.
I'm gonna reach out, I think, to the guy who runs this eyebrow desk, get him on the show because this looks pretty good. This looks pretty good here. This data how'd you find this?
I think I was on Twitter and people were talking about like the best free tools for investors, and somebody's like, I love iBorrow Desk, and I came to the site first. And I'm like, oh, it doesn't look that good, blah, 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 blah. But then I started you just type in any ticker and it's like the most beautiful thing in the world. It's so easy. It's completely free. And I think they make money by like a Patreon. Like poor guy, he's probably be earning a lot from this, but it's pretty cool.
Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff.
Do we have time to talk about one more company, Spencer?
We do. We do.
So here's a company I wrote about called Medical Properties Trust that I think deserves a lot more scrutiny from investors. They're an Alabama-based REIT, about a $12 billion market cap, and they do sale leaseback transactions with private equity firms that buy for-profit hospitals. They've grown rapidly by issuing a lot of shares. From 2004 to today, shares outstanding have gone from like 10 million to 550 million. And to make a long story short, they're relatively concentrated, where their four biggest tenants are about half of their revenue. And they're seen as a great asset. They trade, at a premium multiple. The problem with them is I think some of their biggest tenants are in a lot of financial trouble. So their biggest tenant is called Steward Healthcare. It's 27% of their revenue. They've been sued by other companies for not paying fees. And then what was really interesting is this graphic I made showing that Steward owes Medical Property Trust about $400 million a year in lease payments. And as it appears that they've started to have some trouble, Medical Properties Trust has loaned them $300 million in January. They set up this weird international venture where they were giving money to like a subsidiary of Steward or a joint venture with Steward. So basically, it looked like this Steward, their largest tenant, started having financial difficulties with their huge amount of lease payments. And rather than disclose that to investors or put your biggest tenant in accrual, you just start loaning them money, making equity investments, and finding a way to siphon them money to delay this problem from being disclosed. That's what it looked like to me. And that would be very problematic if true.
Is this your first outright short report?
Okay, well, I wouldn't. Sometimes they say it's not an outright short report. I'm personally not short, but this is a report I wrote for my paid subscribers. It's longer than most of the ones I've done in the past. And I'm just really skeptical on the business and the model. Something else I highlighted is that their second largest tenant is called Prospect Healthcare. And that was bought by private equity firms that then are trying to exit the business now that it's in trouble. And they got a letter from Congress that was really critical of them. So basically, these two largest tenants are clearly in some sort of distress. They're getting loans from medical property trusts. They're getting letters from Congress. But investors don't seem to talk about it at all, and analysts don't seem to talk about it. So it kind of seems odd to me. And this company is huge, $12 billion market cap. No one's ever talked about it because who knows about the for-profit hospital REIT in Alabama. But it's one that I think deserves a lot more scrutiny.
So if you did all this research, though, I mean, why not short it?
Maybe, maybe I should change my model. I'm just a 23-year-old passionate individual, Spencer. So
all right.
I enjoy the kind of journalistic approach more than the short approach. But one day I think I will get more into the activist short game.
All right. No, I appreciate I appreciate your honesty. And you talk about it all you want because you have no vested interest in the stock going up or down. So you're just giving your research, and I there's value to that. There's no rules saying you have to be short. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I think I like your principle. It's unusual to see is all I think.
Hindenburg Research, when they published their report on Clover Healthcare, said
that was weird. They said hey, we think this company sucks, but we're also not shorted. That was weird.
I think sometimes I think Hindenburg good people, but I think sometimes if they the trading dynamics might be off. Maybe it was super hard to borrow, or you're afraid of getting squeezed, so you're like, this is the one I'll do for society and say I'm not shorting when you knew like it would be tough to make money anyways. But
great. All right, Edwin Dorsey, guys. He writes the Bear Cave newsletter. You can find out more by going to thebearcave.substack.com. The link is up on the screen. Edwin, we'll talk to you next Monday.
That sounds great, Spencer. Thanks so much.
Right, thanks a lot. All right, guys. We had a couple of news headlines hit as they are wanting to do in the after-hour session, especially after the bell. Let's just bring up my Benzinga Pro and look real fast. Stitch Fix, which we talked about before the close with Joel. Beat on their earnings per share. Their losses are shrinking. Sales also beat and increasing. They also gave guidance. Looks like they gave some Q4 EBITDA guidance, Q4 sales guidance that was above estimates. Fiscal year sales guidance also above estimates. So you can see the stock or the chart there on the right is blasting off in the after-hour session up to 67. At one point over $68 per share. So very nice headlines, at least for now, out of the Stitch Fix report. What about Coupa Software, COUP? They had earnings tonight as well. EPS beat 7 cents versus 19-cent loss estimate. Sales of 166 versus $152 million. So they beat on both their EPS and sales for the prior quarter. As far as the current quarter, their EPS guidance beat as well. Their sales guidance beat, and they gave guidance for the year. EPS guidance beat, sales guidance beat. So everything beat for Coupa Software in this report, and yet the stock is down. It just goes to show sometimes it's not always what the headline numbers are. You see their CFO is resigning. You can have a new CFO here, but you can't always rely on these numbers to tell you what the stock would do. Let's go back to the news feed, see if there's anything that we missed. If not, I'm going to hop off the stream here. Rev G raised their guidance. Headline, there we go. What else do we see here? Oh, Marvel, MRVL. Yeah, I saw that one on my list. You mentioned it, but Marvel, EPS beat, sales beat, guidance that was more or less strong. Let me see here. Ooh, Leslie's offering for Leslie's raising some money. Look at that one-day chart. Let's zoom out. Let's go to a year to date. So this is a stock that a year ago was 20, below 20. Now we closed at 29. I'm sorry, we closed at 30. What was that gap on the close there? Huh. That's interesting. Anyway, stock offering 24.5 million shares. What's the float on Leslie's? Float is oh wow, that's a big offering. The float's 58 million shares, and they're going to sell how many? 24 million into the market. That is serious dilution. So the good news is offerings allow you to raise money to do all sorts of things, right? Reduce your debt, invest in R&D, whatever, right? You're raising money. The bad news is for shareholders in the moment is it dilutes the crap out of you, and that's what's going to happen here. This is not a company with a lot of shares outstanding, not a large float. They are going to bring in 24.5 million shares into the market. That is some serious dilution. So at Jay Rice, that's the second one they've done since the IPO. Then, I mean, Jesus. All right. I mean, you raise money when the market gives you the chance to, I guess, but holy cow. Second offering, and they just IPO'd what like a 9 months ago? Wow. How much cash do they need? What else do we miss? Vail Resorts reported. How is Vail doing? Not that. Wow. Oh my gosh. Look at this. And it's nothing but a reopening play. Is this place even open last year? All their resorts? Holy cow. See, now, why don't they do an offering? They should do an offering. Raise money at these prices. I bet you they have a small float too, because their EPS is high. So, what is it? MTN? 35 million share float. So, part of the high stock price is just not many shares. Playboy, hey now. Stock offering, Playboy. What is it, offering day? 4 million share offering on Playboy. You had to see this one coming, right? You had to see that coming. Is that Playboy's first offering? Let me just search here. Search for Playboy, search for offering. Yeah. Oh, man. Guys, you had to see this one coming, right? This was the one SPAC that couldn't quit. 4 million share offering. All right. What's the float on PLBY? Don't have it. What shares outstanding? 33 million. Okay, so again, not a large float. And what's the offering going to be? 4 million shares. That's not nothing. That's substantial, right? So you see a stock trading down. That is why. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. What else do we have here after hours? Let's scroll down, see what we missed. FinTech, TIGR. There's an offering. 6.5 million shares. Holy cow, must be offering day. Do have an M&A deal. HBT is going to buy NXT Bank Corp. Okay. What else do we have? WWW reaffirming guidance. That's kind of it. We had like 5 offerings after the close, guys. How do you see an offering coming? I don't mean it literally, but I meant like you get a stock here. So that's a good question, Free Frank. I didn't mean you literally see it coming, but like because no one can see it coming. But like look at the chart. Okay, this is a stock that was a SPAC. We know that SPACs have been out of favor for a hot minute, and this was the one SPAC that kept on going. They had the NFT buzz. They kept on going to ridiculous prices, right? I mean, I'm not, I'm not trying to bring down Playboy here. If the market says it's worth 48, then it's worth 48. But just an insane rally within an overall trend of SPACs being out of favor and this SPAC just kept on going, and it had all this hype behind it, all this NFT hype. You gotta, if you're a company, right, and the market, says, "Oh, let's rally your stock up a couple 100% in a couple months." Why wouldn't you raise money? Why wouldn't you raise money at these higher prices? It makes sense from a corporate governance standpoint, right? That's why AMC is doing it, right? Like, look at AMC. They're raising money. They've raised money several times in the last year, right? I mean, why wouldn't you want to raise money at these prices? You absolutely, it makes sense. So that's what I meant when I said you had to see it coming, because Playboy's been on just a huge run, the best performing SPAC, and it just makes logical sense that they'd want to raise money. That's what I meant by that. I wouldn't say like they're not locking in profits, but like if you could raise money, would you want to like raise money when your stock is worth $10 or when your stock is worth $50? Right? It's the higher your price when you raise money, the more money you're raising, right? So when Playboy says we're gonna do a 4 million share offering, it means they have now hired an investment banker who now has to go into the market and say, "Hey, we've got 4 million shares of Playboy. Who wants them?" And then people say, "I want them, or I don't want them, I don't want them." And then after a couple of days of this, they will come out and they'll say, "Okay, based on all those interactions we've had on this 4 million share offering, we are going to say that we are selling these shares at X price," right? Whether it's, I don't know, 50, some premium or discount, 45, right? And then that's the price for those shares. Those shares that were sold into the market at whatever price the bankers determined there was enough demand, right? And then that price can act as a short-term floor or ceiling, but the bottom line is you want that price to be higher, right? Why would you raise money when your stock is down? You want to raise money when your stock is up. Right, exactly. Okay, that's enough of that. It is 4:23 here. Let's wrap it up here. Let's everyone, please remember all the information from our show, from all of our shows, meant to be used as informational purposes only, not for investing or trading advice. I hope you all had a good day today. It is Monday, which, generally not one of the busier days of the week in terms of volume. We are also in summer where volume tends to decline anyway. But why would you be okay diluting your stock? Well, that's one way of looking at it, but the other way of looking at it is like raising money, right? Like if you can raise money to pay down long-term debt, then why not? It like almost look at it from like a personal finance standpoint, right? It's like if you can raise money at a higher price, use that to pay down debt, use that to fund an acquisition. It can make sense. Okay, that's a wrap here. We've got TrendSpider coming up in a half hour or so at 5 o'clock Eastern Time. Jake Wojcicki, the guy is a charting wizard, and if you haven't seen TrendSpider's raindrops, I highly recommend that. Charting indicator is great. It really is great. Being completely genuine when I say that the raindrop is like fantastic. It's a great way to look at buying and selling pressure in a stock at a given price and time. So, okay. Cold-Blooded Gaming, can sell the shares at any price? Well, yeah, you can. Well, the bankers have to go into the market and figure out where to sell those shares, right? That's the banker's job. Obviously, the higher the price, the better for the company. But it's now the banker's job to go into the market and offer these shares and figure out, okay, where is their demand? Like for Playboy, let's go to Playboy here. Like whoever the banker is can't go into the market and be like, oh, we're going to sell these shares at 60. Stock's at 47. That makes no sense. No one's going to pay 60 for a $47 stock. Maybe they say, we'll sell them at 45 or 44. maybe you're interested. It all depends on the demand in the market. AMC, it's like the same thing, right? It's raising money. It's raising money when you can. So it's sort of corporate governance 101 there. All right, that's a wrap. If you haven't dropped us a like, please do so. We appreciate that very, very much. And I'll see you guys later. Have a good rest of your day. Trend Spider is on at 5 o'clock Eastern.